So, Fantastic Four First Steps. Yes, it is good. Really fucking good. And even the critical drinker himself said that it was, which is fucking crazy, right? But even fucking Angry a point above Superman, which is even more fucking. I saw it with my wife, and we both really enjoyed it. And with this review here, I will be talking spoilers. So, with Fantastic Four First Steps, the MCU Spider-Man movie doesn't really waste time with telling you the age on. We do get bits in here and there of the accident, start hearing like their panic voices of everything going on, but they don't really show you everything, right? Which is for in this universe are literally certified heroes. Everybody loves them besides whoever was in Latveria, right? The representative for Latveria who was missing during like the UN press conference or whatever the fuck, right? They have history in this universe, really fucking shows. From its villains to the impact they made to the world. They're on TV doing like just a bunch of crazy shit like commercials and programs and so much advertising. Is a really great as well who actually, pushes for real benefits for the world. Fucking shocker. They are on cereal boxes, fucking everything, man. They are the hero universe. And like the whole retro style and everything, just fucking amazing. Everything looks so fucking great. The retro futuristic style, fucking insane. I fucking love everything in this movie, presentation wise, right? They are, and it's just incredible. I can't speak, right? It's fantastic. Mr. Reed, Richards, and Marvel Rivals. Also, speaking of that, they went ahead and put the Fantastic Four First Steps models in the game now, which is really fucking nice, especially with the emote where they go ahead and put in, throw out the 4, which is fucking great. I need that. But with the movie, it is shown that Reed and Sue are expecting, and it's no big secret. Sue and Reed are expecting in the trailers and so on, right? And it was really nice that the movie has this real big sense of family and that it never wavers. They bicker and argue like family, and they are very comfortable with each other because they are family. Soon, the Silver Surfer comes by and gives everyone a warning that Galactus is coming to eat their world and to spend time with their families until the end, and then everyone turns to the Fantastic Four to bail them out yet again. So what they do is that they can do to stop this, planetary event. And Reed even tracks the certain planets to a certain extent as well, and sees a pattern that this thing Galactus might not be joking, right? So he tracks everything in space. Came by. He's been tracking deep space frequencies as well that later become important. So they go into FTL, into faster than light speed, whatever, right? To where Galactus is. And let me just say this, right? The whole like retro futuristic stuff, and with the retro, do all this futuristic crazy shit, fucking nice. Fucking great. Love it. So they go into hyperspace to get to Galactus, and they see him in his ship just eating a whole planet. And it's insane, right? Then they get beamed up into the ship because Galactus scans it and finds Franklin to, come to him. Right, and talks with the Silver Surfer about some stuff, and she kind of like brushes him off. And when they get to Galactus, basically Galactus wants Franklin to be like his successor into giving him the unending curse of hunger, so he can finally die or live out to be a normal person or whatever the fuck, right? And of course, Fantastic Four said no, of course. Got the fuck out of there after a little bit of fighting. Galactus is now here to take the child and even forces the birth to happen right there, or at least bring forth the baby closer to term, which Sue's water gets broken there in Galactus's ship. And technically Franklin is born in space, so technically he doesn't really have he doesn't really have rights or whatever the fuck on Earth, because technically he's not even born. I'm not getting into it. But they do go ahead and try to escape the Surfer by I guess like maneuvering through Franklin, and Ben at some point goes to help her. No questions asked, no buts, no real fuss besides maybe Sue just being, like cranky because she's giving fucking birth. He goes ahead to help his sister give birth. And everyone was excited to see Franklin born when he appears, but the team shitty. Reed, in all his wisdom, announces that, that the being known as Galactus wants their child to save them, to save the Earth, to Earth, and everyone is just, of course, pretty fucking upset, right? Because they're like, why don't you give them the child? There's billions of us here, etc., etc., right? Sort of like crash out at the fact that they might all die, and they all blame the Fantastic Four, and it's pretty realistic, right? They're crashing out, and they be the sacrifice. They're telling the Fantastic Four that they are being selfish, but it's Sue who calms everybody down and said that they will all figure it all out, get through it as a family. And she really does, like, they really get give her like the more heartfelt moments, because Reed is not really built like heartfelt moments like that. And I know in this version of the Fantastic Four, she's more of like the heart of it. Like they really just go ahead and give everybody the voice of the Fantastic Four, and it's really nice. It's really nice to see Sue sort of like get up there and speak to everybody like people, like family, and it's really nice. That's what you get throughout this entire movie, that sense of family. So with whatever the fuck Sue said about family and in her gets Reed thinking that he could make like this crazy ass idea work to teleport Earth to a different place in the galaxy away from where Galactus thinks they are, right? Crazy ass said that he could push the planet away from this threat, and Batman is like, a week wouldn't give me enough time to make enough examples on why that's stupid and why it wouldn't work, right? But I get it. Reed was desperate, but not desperate enough to give up his son. And it was really nice to see how the entire Earth actually worked for making these huge planet away. And at the same time, Johnny, who has been a bit smitten with the Silver Surfer for obvious reasons, right? Recognizes her language from Reed's recordings from space. And then with Herbie's help, he goes ahead and basically reverse engineer whole language, which is kind of like crazy as fuck and like really like not really believable, but like it's like that comic book believable like stage. Like it's not world breaking at all. It's just really like it's far out there enough to be in the realm of being in the comics logic and not being in the this is world breaking logic, right? So at some point, right, the Silver Surfer comes by and, she destroys a good bit of the towers, and Johnny made her run away by having her face the voices of the multiple different races that, were screaming out in agony over, Galactus coming over and eating their planet of her actions. And she fucks off somewhere else. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And, she disappears. Eventually, Galactus comes, and they have a plan to teleport Galactus himself away instead of the planet. But Galactus ain't no fucking dummy, and he knew something was fishy. And Chiru was Franklin when they tried to use Franklin as bait, unfortunately. And they had to try their best to fight back against him, but for the most part, fucking failing, right? Sue really teed up with her, pushes back into the portal, and even Johnny and Ben with the airdrop clobbering time was fucking amazing. It was dope. It was really fun, but of course, like the main person really pushing Galactus was everybody else as well. They ended up she ended up pushing Galactus into the portal and teleporting what it seems like teleporting him away. And, he kind of broke out of it, almost came out, and, they pushed him back in and, teleported him away, seemingly at the cost of her life, but to life with the power of cosmic, because he is a being with multiple different powers and is super incredibly powerful because he is Franklin Richards. If you don't know from the comics, he is incredibly powerful. And, I would not Would not go ahead and think that he would not be able to do this because he's so goddamn powerful. But this was essentially the end of the movie where everyone is like, hell yeah, we did it, right? And then 4 years pass, and Sue sees Doom playing with Franklin, and that's the movie. That's where honestly, I don't fucking hate it, but I really do wish they pushed more of like the Doom stuff in the end, like in the end game, not end game, in the end credits, right? They really did just tease it more, and I'm just like I want to go ahead. Doom is going to do, but Doom's going to do a bunch of crazy fucking stupid shit, right? But overall, really fucking good movie. And even though the sequence of events may seem a little bit too perfect, a little bit too aligned, it's the heart and drive that makes the movie so fun and entertaining. I promise you, if Fantastic Four weren't, if like that, the individuals in the Fantastic Four, even was unlikable, the world was ass, the CGI in this movie, right? Like this movie would have been fucking terrible. They nailed mostly everything in this goddamn movie, right? I give it a solid 8 and not a 9 or a 10 for, one or two simple things. It's not something that I creates the mode or anything like that. Industry is not a game changer or anything like that. I think what would have made the movie even more crazier is that what if like the Fantastic Four did fail, if Galactus did go ahead and come back with the assistance of Doom, or just him just coming back just in general like 4 years later or whatever, right? It would end of Thunderbolts, the Fantastic Four, the planet from Galactus, and they accidentally enter a black hole or use the FTL device in a different way, or use a different device that whatever the fuck to send them into said multiverse and escape Galactus, but end up on our one. But at the same time, I think I kind of predicted that outcome to happen. They didn't. From what I've seen, a lot of people didn't really expect the Fantastic Four to fucking win. At the same time, I didn't expect fucking Ghost Rider, fucking cartoon, to come to death, but to throw him off balance and knock him out so they can send him back into deep space or whatever the fuck, right? They did in that show. I didn't expect any of that. I honestly expected them to fucking lose. I think them failing to protect Earth that idolizes them would have been such a baller fucking move, though, to end the movie. And honest to God, thought it was heading that way. I promised Franklin to force everyone to forcibly try and give Franklin over to Galactus and turn the whole planet against the Fantastic Four, causing everyone to turn their backs on them to try and escape in their ship, and Doom or Galactus taking Franklin away. But the male version of the Silver Surfer, the female ones that we saw in the movies, like Husk, right? Before jumping back into the black hole and ending up in the normal universe or whatever. It's like a whole lot of hypotheticals I'm saying right now, but it would have been insane, honestly. And then Doom would trick Galactus into doing this, and erasing Galactus or sending him elsewhere using Franklin's power or whatever. It would have been fucking insane. Right. And using like Franklin's power to cause an incursion with the universe that is where the Fantastic Four went towards, which is one, and he wants to actually kill them this time, but in his universe, and doesn't really know how to control Franklin's powers fully. He's slowly getting to that point of trying to master it, while also getting closer to where the Fantastic Four that he knows loathes. And trying to kill him or whatever the fuck, right? But yeah, cool. A smaller point off the movie that kind of like put 1 point off for me is how underutilized the Silver Surfer is here. Plot and convenience. Oh my god, like like they were about to teleport. She destroys the tower. Oh my god, she saves Johnny in the nick of time after they had a moment exposing her sins, feeding worlds to Galactus. Like, all her scenes don't really have much purpose besides driving the plot. There's no scenes where we actually get a feel for her, for who she is in the past or who she is in general. She's just, a plot device who more or less just doesn't really try to fight the Fantastic Four. For the most part, chases them down, honestly. She does fuck them up here and there, but you can tell she's not actually trying to kill them, or else they would all fucking die, of course. It's also still fucking crazy that Reed thought moving the fucking planet was a good idea, but it's that comics would do. And even though it didn't fucking happen, the fact that they fucking tried, and I know they would have succeeded, it's just crazy. It's crazy. But it's all entertainment along with that feeling of family, of being there for each other no matter what, with Sue, the heart, Reed, the brains, Johnny, the passion, and Ben as the spirit. And it's just so fucking fun. Such a great film. People are kind of tired of Pedro Pascal, but the reason why they use him is because he's good. He makes good movies. He doesn't detract for the movies as much as what he gives to the movies, right? Am I getting Pedro Pascal fatigue? I mean, a little bit, but you know, he's still a good actor. He still does his job pretty fucking well. And he's the one that actually pushed The Last of Us. About him, he like the show is what it is now. But great movie overall. Can't wait to see what Doomsday has in store for us with Doom and the Fantastic Four and how they get involved with the main universe, MCU universe. What are your theories on what will happen next? I think Franklin will reset the MCU, honestly. He might make it to where Loki doesn't need to hold up the time verses anymore, and fully rework the entire concept of the multiverse after what Doom will cause in the movie and after all the heroes stop him. That's just my little theory or whatever the fuck, right? It just makes sense, especially with a lot of talk about resetting the MCU. It just makes sense. But I hope you guys had a good time watching the movie. Tell me your thoughts on it, about it in the comments below. If you enjoy, I can't speak. If you enjoy the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe. It really does help the channel a lot. Thank you so much for supporting it. Stay safe and healthy mentally, emotionally, and physically, and see you guys next time. Peace.